5 more minutes, please. There's a zombie apocalypse outside and I really don't want to wake up for it. Greetings and salutations, viewers. I'm StarPrincessHLC, and here's another review for you for this strange but really entertaining anime based around girls being all moe in a zombie apocalypse. School Live. Spoilers ahead for this particular episode as well. Episode 5, continuing where we left off. I will have a link in the description below for where you can watch it on your own on Crunchyroll. It is a strange and interesting little show, and it deals with a lot of interesting, well, very interesting subjects of dealing with, trauma and such, but it's still cutesy and still kind of interesting. So, with that, let us begin. Yeah, you're driving my car. Why am I letting a kid drive my car? In this particular episode, it pretty much follows right after the events of episode 4, where, if you don't remember, it was talking more about Miki's side of things, where she was locked up in the mall with the zombies and Terumaru and her best friend Kei, who ended up abandoning her later on, and she's essentially now stuck in the mall by herself. Terumaru ran off away from her because she yelled at him one time, and that was enough to piss him off and leave. So now she's kind of huddling in the corner of her little area in the mall, hoping that Kei will come back with help, but doesn't seem to be the case. Ah, the dog is out there, so you're not gonna go save him. What are you gonna do in your underwear, by the way? Nope, that's not your dog. It seems like it's just a monster, as usual. On the other side of the coin, we have the 3 girls, Yuki, Risan, and Kurumi, and Megune, driving Megune's car and actually coming, as I figured, they're coming up to the mall that Miki is hiding in. And they're playing it up, obviously, because Yuki still thinks that it's a normal little school outing, so they have to basically say, like, you gotta be quiet because a concert's going on, and not because we're trying to pretend that there's no zombies, because you're convinced that they don't exist. So that's that. So they basically go around shopping, essentially. No, you gotta wait. Yeah, see? The fiery hells of Risan says no. And they bounce around with a few different areas. Like, they go looking for, like, different food stuff. They actually go into a clothing store and try on bathing suits, which I thought was kind of weird. I have a feeling there's going to be a swimsuit edition later on in this series if they're making such a big deal out of bathing suits. There's going to be a swimsuit episode later, isn't there? There's no reason otherwise of why we have them posing in bathing suits. They also were getting a little teddy bear for Megune because she wasn't feeling good about not being able to fit into an outfit or what have you. They were just kind of, getting supplies and, trying to make it seem okay for Yuki, but obviously we're working on trying for survival overall. You're talking to the girl with the shovel who's got a vendetta against zombies. Reckless? Yeah, she's definitely reckless. But then, interestingly enough, because obviously Terumaru and Miki have to be in on this, Terumaru actually finds the girls, and they essentially automatically adopt him because he's a cute and adorable little puppy who seems by himself, and they're wandering around with the puppy, and he's being all cutesy and barking and trying to get Miki's attention almost, kind of like he is, in a way, trying to get her help, trying to convince her to get out in a way, but not entirely. I think partly he's just being, a stubborn little puppy because he's still not a fan of her in the show, but at that time I think he still cares about her enough to try and get her out, so he was barking a lot trying to get her attention. Oh god, she's communicating with it! I knew she was part dog, even though she has a cat hat! But then as the episode goes on, things get a little bit more dire. Like, for example, they actually find... Unfortunately, they didn't run into too many zombies, at least not until, like, the very end, when Kurumi mistakenly heard, like, sounds of possibly a survivor in the movie theater. Obviously, we were, I guess, as the audience, hoping, oh, they found Miki, but no, Miki was still hiding at that time. Kurumi thought she heard someone in the movie theater, and she opens it up, and the entire theater is packed full of zombies, and we find out later on those zombies were actually kids. So it probably was like the parents of loved ones were trying to get their kids hidden away into that movie theater and blocked it off so they would be safe. But I guess somebody was bitten already who was put in, and chaos ensued, and everybody died in that movie theater. So that's kind of sad, considering the majority of the people that were in that particular theater were kids. Hello? Oh. Well, that sucks. They must have been watching The Ring, because they all seem to have died in this movie theater. But when that discovery comes, that's when things really start to pick up on this episode, because it was mainly kind of just the goofy little silliness from the girls, coupled a little bit with Miki being all huddled in the corner like, where's Toromaru, where's Kei, what am I gonna do? But then things really start to pick up after the reveal of the movie theater, where the zombies are starting to pile in more, and strangely enough, it seems like Yuki temporarily has like a moment of clarity throughout the rest of this, and I will explain more as we continue, but a lot of interesting things happen in this particular episode. No, the zombies were having a rave. That's why the glow sticks are there. Of course somebody's here! But yeah, for one, they hint at a lot of strange things that I have a feeling are going to happen later. Like they were talking about how the zombies seem to act like they did as humans, despite the fact that obviously they're craving for flesh, which I thought was an interesting thing. They brought it up briefly in the previous few episodes, but this time they also made another mention of it, which makes me think, like, that's going to come into play at some point. You're acting awful a lot like these people are normal, despite the fact that they're zombies. Also, at some point in the episode, Kurumi was talking about the fact that there were kids in that theater, and she was showing her disgust for obviously the zombies, and strangely enough, she just comes out of nowhere and asks Risan to make a promise that if she turns into a zombie, to finish her off, to kill her before that happens. And it's like, that's going to come into play later, isn't it? It's going to be some point where Kurumi's going to get bit, and Risan's going to have to probably make a decision to put her down. Which I feel that's going to happen. Especially considering Kurumi is the fighter. She's the one getting into the scuffles with the zombies out of any of the other characters. So I have a feeling that's going to be played out at some point in the future. That's going to come into play later, isn't it? Because why else would you bring this up now, just out of the blue? But also with that, like I said, it really seemed like they were trying to, in a way, break a little bit through Yuki's defenses, in a way. Like, after we saw like the wave of zombies coming out of the movie theater, it seemed like Yuki instantly recognized them all as zombies, and she kind of went a little dead after that. She kind of blanked out and ended up getting a fever and having to rest for a bit. But we also had like a little glimpse where she was having like a little flashback where she was talking to her friends, and then they were all turning into zombies in front of her face, and then she woke up like nothing happened. So it seems like her mind does want, in a way, to tell her that, yes, you are in a zombie apocalypse. Focus, girlfriend, focus. But at the same time, her mind is almost saying, like, no. So it's a really interesting dynamic where it seems like she has moments of clarity, but then other times she doesn't. And that actually comes into play at the very end of the episode. Yeah, this is definitely starting to look like she's having trouble breaking down her delusions, as it were. But the main episode really was essentially Miki getting rescued. What happened essentially in this episode was Obviously, Toromaru kept barking and barking and barking, and she was like, it's probably just my imagination. He's probably gone, just like Kay. But then he kept doing it, and she decided, YOLO, break down the barriers. I'm going out. I'm finding that dog, and I'm going to see if I can get some help. And she originally doesn't seem to do well with it. She gets surrounded by zombies on top of a piano. They're grabbing at her and everything. Oh boy. This is one solo piano act I don't think you want to be a part of. And strangely enough, Yuki is the one who kind of comes to her aid in a way. Like, she heard Miki yelling for help, and she and Toromaru charged back into the building to find her, and Yuki actually kind of charges in to try and help her, even though she knows that it's dangerous. Like, she realizes that they're zombies and that this girl is in danger, which I find interesting considering later on, obviously, she goes back to being oblivious, but interesting that Yuki takes the lead on this. So does she actually see those zombies, or what? I'm a little confused here. But really, it is kind of a combined effort from all the girls. Like, obviously, Yuki is the one who pulls Miki out of the carnage, essentially, of the zombies. Kurumi obviously smashing everyone with her shovel. Shovel it up, girlfriend! And Risan, strangely enough, actually helps out because at one point in one of the shops, she grabbed like this little cat whistle and she pulled it and it made a huge sonic wave of noise that distracted the zombies long enough for Yuki to get Miki out of there. So it was really a team effort for all the girls to rescue Miki. So now, obviously, the episode ends with the 4 girls and the dog and the teacher heading back to the school, one prison to another for poor Miki, but, that's interesting to see, like, how the story progresses and seeing, like, there are moments of clarity between Yuki and the reality of what is happening around her. You can see the dynamic between the three friends and how they are able to help Miki escape, and obviously, I guess, the dynamic gets stronger when Miki starts being more active in the party. Obviously, they'd only just met her, but it is really cool to see how these girls deal with this kind of situation, including with one who is struggling with her own mind to cope with this tragedy that has happened to their world. So I am curious to see what's going to happen next. Wow, that is noisy. And they sell that to kids? You'll go deaf. I really am curious on what's going on with Megune, because I do have this weird feeling that she's been Bruce Willis this whole time, especially considering I believe in one of Yuki's little moments trying to semi-get some clarity. I'm not sure, but I think there was a small little snippet of a shot, a grimy little image of Megune, and she screamed and turned away from it. So I'm starting to wonder if that's what happened to Megune, that she also is dead. But I guess we'll find out in another episode. But for now, this is StarPrincessHLC saying thank you very much for watching, and have a fond farewell. And let me know in the comments below what you would like to see me review next. Bye bye!